Now you can finally see.
Well, we changed it up a little bit. So, what's up, guys? How you doing? What's good? Welcome to Crazy Pinfalls. We got the usual crew and somebody new. Hey, Lewis. What's good? How you doing?
Very good, very good. Hope everyone's having a good day right now.
So, Lewis, we had somebody who is very dear. He's one of our supporters, and agreed to originally be a part of this tournament. But due to unforeseen things, he had to bow out gracefully, which was Tim Trevor. Tim has been one of the most adamant people about the show. He has been, producing the show, not producing, but promoting the show constantly, trying to get everything out. He is the biggest heel, and honestly, that was one of the matchups I was looking forward to. But now I have more intrigue with Lewis's takes and see how that prediction show with Tank goes. Are you ready to try to go after the Wicked Crazy Pinfalls World title that's beautifully sitting right next to me right here?
Well, I'm gonna have time to prepare, but I got the news, got of nowhere. But yeah, I am excited too. I want to take that belt with me, so yes, I'm gonna prepare to take that belt with me.
Yeah, it's gonna be an interesting branch, especially if you make it out from Tank. You've got a lot of work to get through, considering the fact that if you beat Tank, you'll be in the match of the winner of the triple threat match, the first ever triple threat all destruction match.
First ever, I mean.
Hey, all I gotta say is for you, get at me, bro.
You know what's kind of funny to me? I just want to say what's kind of funny just for a second.
Are you being my friend Drew or the Roman Reigns complex Drew? Which one?
You're not supposed to break the wall, brother.
I don't care. I'm breaking the wall anyway.
Go and make every match a triple threat, and then all of a sudden people want to do triple threats. It's kind of funny how that works. I guess you could thank me for that.
The ego on this guy.
Well, I mean, the guy who did literally in that match, who wanted his original opponent, who is still a great guy anyways, Pearl is always going to be a great guy to me, did not want to do it. So Jeremy says, bring Bob. So Bob O'Neill was a good example, and Tad reached out, and we had JJ. So Jeremy's like, I want a triple threat match. Give Jeremy what he wants. Simple as that. So I
never me what he wants. Okay, that's fine. I'm used to being crapped on in this place, so.
Yeah, but I've been good the last couple of weeks. I'm being honest, all right? I'm breaking all the fourth wall. You and me have always been cool. It's just the fact that this is a tournament, and this has got high stakes. But, I mean, in real life, we're always been cool. And that's the thing is that we're all friends and stuff like that.
I like the gimmick.
So, speaking of
I'm
gimmick,
not playing the gimmick right now. I'm being I'm being real.
I'm gonna shit on the gimmick that he did last week. You did that little tweet about "Oh, Michigan, I'm coming for you."
Yeah.
Except what happened is a bunch of people that were from Michigan saw it and were like, "Yeah, Michigan's a great place." So you trying to trash talk didn't even work. It was just people being like, "Yeah, our state rules." So good luck with that.
I mean, I'm from Texas, so I cannot really write on anything.
Some shit misses. What can I say?
I mean, I can't
You've
say
been missing
anything.
a lot lately. You're like Shaq at the free throw line.
Oh,
I can't say anything about Texas, considering I took a train cross through Texas and all I saw was cows. So, I mean, you come into Massachusetts on the western side, you see the same thing. So it's not like a miss much, other than, you guys getting the pay-per-view where this title is actually going to end up possibly. So, yeah.
By the way, I want to thank the hacker once again for hacking every single device that I have.
Yeah. That wasn't big.
Yeah, that's right. Everyone's against me, Louis.
My God.
Okay. I guess for me right now, I'm I'm just being real today. I'm
Although
not
if we
living
actually-
gimmicks
if we
and
do-
stuff.
If we do want to break the fourth wall for a second, for real, none of my devices are working. So I guess that's karma for me.
I don't think so. I just think, just shit happens, right?
Mm-hmm.
I
Literally,
mean,
these were working yesterday. I was on a meeting yesterday with these on this very laptop, and they worked fine. But today they're not. So
if it makes you feel better, my headset's about to die because I did an hour and 45-minute Twitch stream earlier because I was bored and playing baseball. So, by the way, my Red Sox spanked your Yankees on that game. I had it on. I had it.
My Yankees fucking suck right now.
I had, and the
They
funny
lost
part
to the
is that
Tigers.
I had it on franchise mode and I had it on auto, and it swept them,
lost.
and I'm like,
They beat up Otani and they still lost.
So, I mean, we've got stuff to talk about anyways, but I know Lewis, I wanted to invite Lewis in there so everybody could see him. And so you have Tank Bearclaw in the tournament. So do you have anything directly say to Tank for when, or are you going to wait till your match in October that comes around?
I'm gonna wait. I don't want to shit talk anyone right now, but I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna let stuff race at the moment.
Well, I mean, like I said, this might end up not in Brooklyn, but in Texas. So, I mean, that could happen. But I know you got stuff to do and you have family coming through. So just check his stuff out. Go ahead and plug your everything that you do, especially all the articles you do too.
Well, you can follow me on my Twitter over here at the Luis Pulido, and you can see me hanging out on Daily DDT. I'm going to be posting a couple of articles in the next couple of weeks, maybe a couple of days. So check out everything I do over there.
Stealing
All right.
Beaver's gimmick.
Anyways, just go have fun with your family and stuff. You're always welcome on, and we'll figure something out so when you're not being rushed like usual.
No worries.
All right, thanks.
I appreciate the invite. Thank you very much.
Take care.
So now there are 4. God help us all. Actually, 3 and a kid and a little table. Yes, I'm back in my own gimmick. Thank you very much. So NXT this week was really good. Yeah, you have that one, but this one's more important here. Come on, say it. Say it. He's not even touching it.
No, this is where that one's going to go, and then that one is going to go here because this one always goes on top.
Would that one be able to fit there?
No, it won't. I have to lay this across my couch just to let it fit. That's how big the belt is from width to width. It's bigger than the Universal titles.
I might have
Yeah.
to customize this.
Like, it won't literally fit on a counter. Like, it extends past the counter.
Who did they think they were putting it on? Andre?
For me though, with the changes in this tournament, we had to make some alterations. We had the triple threat added to it for Jeremy's request. We have the secondary matches that are originally going. So what we changed up is that because of the second chance matches, we added and switched one of those second chance matches. Now, for me, this is going to be huge because we had to rearrange 2 matches just to do it. So now Aaron Entertainment, who has the highest percentage on the losing bracket, I'm sorry, so sorry, Aaron, will be facing Mr. Glean from Wrestle Story.
Okay.
Now this is going to be fun because the main event coming up at a pay-per-view, and the person is picking that pay-per-view out of respect for Ray, is Rob Wilkins versus Ray Callahan, for Ray Callahan to get another shot into the bracket towards the championship.
Now, what is he doing to respect me? I'm confused.
He's going to pick a pay-per-view that works for schedule-wise for both of you.
Oh, okay.
And because he knows that you're on here and stuff, and then he will let us know. So that is out of respect. And on top of that, let's be honest, he is the co-creator of this channel show because he's one of the people that pushed me to do it. But the main event I can't wait for is Come at me, bro, versus the King. I can't wait. That's gonna be awesome. That's gonna be a highlight. If you had to
will
pick,
be cut in half.
if you had to pick, Ray, between Drew or the King, who would you pick?
Drew's table is going to get cut in half, and then it's going to get put in an incinerator, and then it's going to get pissed on.
He doesn't know whether he wants to be his character or break the fourth wall right now. This is great.
I'm just happy I can actually hear you all now that I figured out how to work this StreamYard gimmick. And
and I'm being honest, I don't. And this is breaking the fourth wall. I don't have the controls today. I'm literally just. I told him to take care of it because I'm too tired right now.
I'm not doing anything.
Especially since I almost burnt myself in 100-degree weather the other day, so that was fun. But
wait, so if you're not doing it, and if you're not doing it, who's controlling this right now?
Your tech team.
Yeah, your tech team.
My tech team don't know shit about StreamYard.
I don't
They
know.
don't know anything about anything.
Okay.
I don't know, but maybe it's the hacker doing it. But hey, I mean,
It's
it
the
is
same
what
one who
it
sent you
is.
that letter. Maybe it's the same person who sent you that letter last week.
Well, I mean,
I still have it. Look, you see what this is a travesty. Okay, this is somebody who thinks that they're funny. They're not funny. Disgusting.
Oh, I don't. What's that? Me and Ray are not doing anything. We literally both of us are in the studio and we have no control over this.
Well, you think my team is bad?
I'm sorry. I literally am. I really don't know what's going on here. But can we go on? Can we just keep going? Because as much as it's funny, I'd still like to keep talking about this stuff. So I basically, to piggyback from last week, we were talking about the Broken Skull sessions and stuff like that with Bob O'Neill. And I've been watching some stuff on and off recently, like the Most Wanted Treasures they did with Mark Henry, like I said last week with Big Show about Andre the Giant was interesting. There's so much stuff, and NXT was really good this week, I thought, especially with Swerve Scott winning the title and Joe literally being implanted here and there. It seems like from the Ryan Satin interview that I caught a little bit, they're actually working him to actually get a return. And I think it might happen sooner rather than later. Do you see that actually happening? And yes, Ray, we will talk about the distraction in the hill I will die on.
Oh, no, I mean, you bring it up if you want to. Like, you'll get roasted on that one. But
yeah,
no, it's as far as like the bringing Joe back, like, the sooner they can get him back in the ring, like, safely, like, heck yeah, do it. Like, Joe's good. Like, why would you not? But I think that's always speaking optimistically of, like, sooner rather than later. They've said that. They said that about Ronda Rousey, and then she ended up pregnant. Like, it doesn't mean anything to me. Like, I would hear that and get hopeful, but I've also seen that hope die so many times that I'm just like, yeah, all right. Like, if it happens, cool. But when it happens, it happens. Swerve getting the title, long overdue, especially because Reed's probably coming up to Raw or SmackDown anyways.
Agreed.
But yeah, I mean, Swerve rules, Hit Row rules. It's going to be cool to see them go against the Diamond Mine too, I think. That in theory could be the basis of your War Games if you wanted. So yeah, I mean, yeah, that's where I'm at.
I mean, for me, it makes more sense because of the fact that, like you said, Reed getting called up. Pray to God he doesn't get put back in the functionactyl bullshit.
Back in it? Why would he get? What do you mean put back in it?
That was Brodus Clay. That was years ago.
But I'm talking about the idea of that gimmick.
No.
Like,
oh, geez.
No.
But I think the match, and I was telling Ray off cameras, is that they're going to put Cross in Gargano in there, because if they're going to pull the trigger and have him come up during Money in the Bank or for SummerSlam at least, that would work out. I mean, also for SummerSlam, there's a wild card out there. We don't know when some of these big names are going to come back, especially like they moved Brock to Raw. They have Becky possibly coming back
He's not even signed though.
Yeah, well,
like Sean Denise said, now he says that Brock Lesnar may not be coming back.
Yeah, I mean, until I see him on the screen, like, I'm just, like, he's been gone a long time. He's not on the contract. Like, I'll be excited to see him because Brock rules, but, like, I don't get too excited about that until I see it. I don't think Gargano's going anywhere, though. Like, you're not breaking up.
I think Cross is
one of your best things. But, Cross, absolutely. And good riddance. Don't need
I think Cross and Gargano are going to have a title match. I think Cross retains, and the Cross will lose the NXT title. Probably at the takeover if there's a takeover in August, and he'll get caught up to the main roster.
Yeah, most likely that will happen. There will be a takeover in August. There usually is when a major four is. So why are you so quiet, Drew, all of a sudden talking about NXT? Isn't that your wheelhouse?
I do not watch NXT. So in fact, I've taken it upon myself now to just not watch anything wrestling related except what I have to cover for Cage Side Seats.
He watches WWE Dynamite.
Oh God, it's just like WWE Dynamite. It's like somebody asking, coming into an oil change shop asking for blinker fluid.
Well, I mean, like, we got to remember, he worked for that company for a long ass time.
Ray.
No, listen. I'm not saying. No, hold on. Hold on. Don't do that. He's not a mole for WWE. He has even said, I will never go back there again because of the way that they ended his treatment. But, like, he worked there for a long time.
Yeah.
He's an old dude. He's trying to keep up with all this stuff moving. Like, yeah, he screwed up. Was it a big miss? After a great, thanks for the last year and a half of supporting us through a pandemic, like, for him to make that gap at that point. But, like, if we're leaving that episode of Dynamite and we're talking about that, we're intentionally choosing to focus on stuff that we don't need to focus on. Because Dynamite had a lot of cool things to talk about. Him mixing up a couple of letters, I don't give a shit. Like, the Young Bucks made fun of it. It was funny, but, like, people are like, oh, he's a mole. Like, come on.
I was joking about that.
I know you are, but there are people that are saying that shit.
No, yeah, there are people that are really fucking dumb out there.
Because you mean the ones are against AEW stan, hardcore fans, stands, whatever you want to call them.
AEW stands, WWE stands, they're all fucking stupid. So.
Yeah, I 100% agree.
Well, I mean,
you want to hear me talk about something? It's going to be about that, because holy shit, the past couple of weeks have been miserable on social media with WWE versus AEW. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of, I feel just apathetic at this point. It's like, I used to have that reaction. Remember, before I really turned into this, I had a huge blow up about the Alexa stands.
Yeah, you ranted like a freaking crazy man.
I don't feel it like that anymore. Now I just have apathy. You're an idiot.
I don't have a spot for stan culture. Like who you like, or don't like who you don't like. Like, I don't really care. But to stand someone, it's never going to work out for you. And I even put on Twitter last night, like, to me right now, AEW is the best product in pro wrestling. And to me, it's not even close. But that's not me saying that AEW is perfect. I thought the ending of the main event last night, it was a little too messy. I didn't like that. That's a consistent. I didn't think
it was the best show. I don't think it was a great show.
No, and I don't either. But, like,
the women's match is terrible.
You pick out any random AEW episode right around now versus any other brand's show right around now, I'm probably picking the AEW show. That's not saying that I don't like WWE.
The only one that could come closest is NXT. The only one to come closest is probably NXT to, like, AEW.
I would say a good Roman Smackdown is probably better, but, like, I mean, even those were starting to lose.
SmackDown hasn't been that great lately either. I mean, has taken a step back.
But I
It's
still
weird.
like both. Like it's fine. I like a lot of
It's
them.
weird
I
for
like
me
a lot.
because it's like I've been watching stuff here and there. I mean, I'm working 50 hours a week, God help me. But for me though, it's one of those things like I'll watch the NXT stuff on a Thursday. I'll watch some of the Raw stuff on a Wednesday because I'll be home and stuff a little later. So, but for me, I like the fact that with the Raw, it's starting to even out, and I think they're getting closer, higher. But we'll see. The Eva Marie stuff needs to
Raw the
stop.
past couple of weeks has been pretty good.
Kofi Kingston's
It-
promo.
The last 2 weeks of Raw have been good for their standards, which you
It's-
have
yeah.
to lower the bar for
It's
that. And
surprisingly Raw's been going in the right direction for 2 weeks. SmackDown's going the opposite direction.
and here's the
And
problem.
NXT is standing packed.
And throwback, you mentioned there's all this content out there, and it's hard to watch it all. I have started doing like what Sean has mentioned, where he doesn't start watching it till a little later. Skip the commercials, skip the replays, skip the entrances, and it makes a lot better. But like this last week on Raw, I started watching at 9:10. When the main event started at 10:30, I was caught up. That's not acceptable. That I can skip 70 minutes of a show in 80 minutes worth of time, and
It's
I
like
can be caught up.
Hulu.
Like that's yeah.
I'm surprised. I'm actually loving Raw lately. The Matt Riddle stuff when he became Randy Orton for replaced Randy Orton. That's great. I mean,
That's fun. I like that.
Before the Randy Orton stuff, I'm like, I didn't like how they're using Matt Riddle because they're making him look really, really dumb. But I think, but it's working out with the Randy Orton storyline, whatever it is. As a huge fan of Randy Orton, I think it's working out with Randy Orton. Before that, I don't think it was. To me, it wasn't clicking, but now it's clicking for me. I still think Randy Orton at some point is going to turn on him, but because I don't trust Randy Orton, you should never trust Randy Orton.
I think for SmackDown though, Edge coming back and being like the psychotic rated R superstar back in between like the aughts and stuff like that. That was interesting. Just
the promo sucked.
Yeah, no.
He's right there on the stage.
Where are you? Turn your head, stupid. Do this.
I know a lot of people are having problem with Edge having a title shot because he lost at WrestleMania. But to me, it's a one-on-one. I think it's just be a one-on-one, and I think he's going to feud with Seth Rollins because Seth Rollins ran off on Talking Smack, and they have to calculate off of that.
The last time we saw him, he got pinned along with someone else. Yeah. What claim does he have?
I'm okay with it. I'm just okay with it because I think it's going to be one match. I think then he's going to go for Seth Rollins. If the SummerSlam rumor is true, I'm okay with Edge and Seth Rollins at SummerSlam. Have Seth Rollins cost him the match.
SummerSlam, they have to make it a home run out of that because other than WrestleMania, which to me, like, it was okay if you're looking at the crowd and stuff. This is the one major pay-per-view where you could probably pack the place with fans that are majority are vaccinated. So, I mean, for me, this is just going to be intriguing to see what kind of card they build off because this is like not where Money in the Bank's not the major original pay-per-views. It's, Raw, Rumble, Mania, SummerSlam, Survivor Series. Those are still, for me, growing up as a kid, and today, still the major four. And then you have the sublet ones and then go from there.
Happy Corbin.
I think they're going to, no matter where they go or what the pay-per-view is, they're going to sell everything out for a while just because everyone's like, cool, I can do stuff. Like, I've been to one Raw. I realistically probably, if I never go to another Raw again, all right, whatever. But if it comes around right now, I'll probably be like, you know what? I haven't been in anything in a while. Screw it, let's go. But, normally I wouldn't care. But it's been so long since anyone's been able to do it that you're going to go just because of the opportunity right now.
I've been to 3.
Okay, so are we talking about working or just attending? Because there's a difference for me because working at the arena, I've been to...
Why would we talk about working at the arena? We're talking about people buying tickets.
Okay, no, because I got to go to free shows and stuff like that when I worked there, and if they didn't need me, they told me to stay.
Well, you're talking about building up the cards to make sure people buy the tickets. People are going to buy the tickets for the first couple of months just because they haven't been able to. WWE is going to get a little bit of a cushion. AEW is going to get it too. Everyone going on the road. The first probably 4 or 5 months worth of going on the road, people are going to be excited.
you miss something with this much for a long time, you're gonna get the crowd back, a full crowd.
It's going to be interesting, though. Do you see like something like NXT if they do travel for house shows again, where they do something like a title change like they did with Balor and Joe? Could that be what make that atmosphere feel again with all the current crowd, Drew?
Oh, well, I mean, for that exact type of a reason is why I'm heavily considering going to the AEW show that's going to be in Queens in September. It's because
the one at Arthur Ashe, right?
Yeah.
That's going to be sweet.
I've been there once for a U.S. Open, but that was years ago. But for a chance to go to an AEW show and an actual, not even a live event, an actual literal Dynamite taping, it's going to be hard to pass that up.
Just like our referee can't pass it up. Just like our referee for these prediction shows can't pass up having Wimbledon tickets.
I mean, AEW's champion's Canadian.
Yeah, that list that came out from SP3 is very debatable, and we'll talk about that too. But I think what's going to end up happening is that Gargano, if they do put Cross into this, is going to be.
I have a question. Who's the face in this match?
Gargano.
Is it Gargano? No, this NXT thing was not when Gargano came with NXT. That's not a face thing to do. It's like that's more of a heelish thing. But like I think Cross is a tweener though.
I like the fact that Joe is. They're kind of nitpicking, and you guys can give your piece on this. That they're nitpicking an old storyline and revitalizing it. If anybody remembers and they're watching it, if they haven't, look up Stone Cold Steve Austin co-general managing with Eric Bischoff. One of the things that Bischoff said is that he cannot provoke or go after any talent unless provoked. And Austin would literally get provoked and stun a lot of people. Now Joe's in the same situation. The only difference is Austin wasn't wrestling, and Joe could possibly be coming back on a full-time basis. So do you see this going all the way in towards like Joe goes beyond the point of no return and then makes a return? Or do you see him within a year actually getting a shot before that? And I've asked this in a super chat, winning the NXT title in a year span.
I mean, it just depends on if it gets cleared. Because, I mean, if he gets cleared, putting the NXT title on Samoa Joe, like, duh, you do that. Like, and you talked about, getting Cross up, and if it can be done sooner than later, if Joe can be the one to take the title off Cross, that's a good way to get Cross off of the title and move to a different brand without being like, oh, he lost to Gargano, who's like, kayfabe 70 pounds lighter than he is. Like, because you do have to be careful, because we always see the NXT champions lose and then go to the main roster, and that always looks stupid. It looks real dumb when the guy's supposed to be as big of a badass as Cross is supposed to be, and he loses to a guy that's smaller than I am. Like, that doesn't look good.
Yeah, it's one of those things. They did it to Lee too. He won the title, lost it to Cross, and then went on up to the main roster. And now it's like, what's going on with them? Kind of wonder what's up.
That might be different bad things.
Yeah, well, I'm trying to I don't like going into people's personal lives, especially where it's like that. Either. So, but you just hope that they come back and they do well and stuff,
Mm-hmm. He was supposed to be U.S. champion. Remember, he was supposed to be in that triple threat match at was it Fastlane or was it Elimination Chamber? Which I forget which one it was. He was supposed to win that. He was supposed to win that match.
It was Elimination Chamber because that was
the Matt Riddle one, right?
Riddle won it, and then later on that night, Miz cashed in on Drew with the help of Bobby, who was pissed because he lost the title earlier.
I remember it was Keith Lee was supposed to win that match.
And the thing what I can see is that it like a pay-per-view, if they don't have anybody for Lashley, they could set up a match with Riddle. And
they got Kofi.
No, for SummerSlam.
Kofi Mania.
So I have a theory. Go for it, but I have a theory. On what
I think that it could happen like that, and they could do something like WWE's version of a fight pit, like a cage match version because of their MMA. And, Vince is going to be like, oh, look at the money. It's right. It's SummerSlam. We need something big. Oh, why don't we take NXT's fight pit and modify it for a WWE style and let them be MMA fighters? And that way
Yeah,
they
they
can
had
just
that. They had that last year. It's called Raw Underground.
yeah, but I'm talking about like these guys in a real cage. And the thing about it also is it would make sense, and it would be Vince being Vince poking at Tony Khan about how the fact that they had an MMA match that really wasn't great. I watched some of that just on YouTube and stuff on some visuals because people were talking about it.
They had those matches
And-
30 years ago.
Yeah. So I mean, for
The
me,
Shamrock.
you can actually make it because these two guys are in their physical prime and they still have an MMA style they use. They're just, they pull their punches mostly. So what's your theory, Mr. Beaver?
So we're gonna see Bobby and Kofi, and we've seen like the story that they've kind of told. And I really like what they're doing. I think it's good stuff. But who did Kofi lose his title to? Who would fit with Brock real well? SummerSlam, Kofi, Brock, and Bobby in a triple threat. WWE's been doing the triple threats a lot. Brock shows up in the Money in the Bank or at the Money in the Bank match, cost Kofi the match. Triple threat set up. Like, I think that'd be cool because they like doing these triple threats in these big pay-per-views now. We're seeing them do a lot of them. So,
yeah, I know, and stuff. I mean, it's going to be a good card regardless, and the thing about it is that the way this year has passed, it's literally, I can't believe that we're already in July, and that's how quick this year has gone. But it's going to be interesting to see what they do because we have a lot of good pay-per-views this month and all the specialty shows. You got Great American Bash next week. You've got, a lot of the AEW shows for week after week after week after week. This show has a huge week coming up the week of the 17th, and we have a confirmed prediction show coming up for you the week of Money in the Bank and Slammiversary because you're going to get 2 shows.
What day is that on, Slammiversary?
17th.
17?
Yeah.
Yep.
Saturday,
and the next
then
day
the next night. Yep.
is Money in the
So day
Bank.
before Money in the Bank.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Dennis Farrell, and he doesn't like me calling him that, but I'm not gonna call Chris Parrish what I call him just for fun. But their match is going to be July 11th, and the time is probably going to be sometime after 6:00 because I'll be home. I'll probably produce it, or Anakin will, and it'll be them making picks for Slammiversary, even though there's one more Impact before that. And then we're going to try to schedule out one of the other main events for that week with the stipulation Spencer Love versus Pluggo. So I'm going to get these guys' thoughts about it in a couple of the pay-per-view matches for this month. There's actually 4 of them for a couple of things. One of them, these guys do not know two of these matches, but they know the other two people. So it makes it interesting to get these picks off of them. But I'm ready to die on this hill. So why not we just get this out of the way? The distraction today, we're talking about tag teams for the most part on their post show and stuff. And I mentioned something that there is a tag team, on and off tag team, that have a combination of work experience of 58 years in the business together. Now, these guys have very successful single careers, and they also have tagged and won multiple titles as tag team champions. The Brothers of Destruction has had a total of 58 years in the wrestling business. Glenn Jacobs, 28. Mark Galloway, 30. That's in WWE in general. I said this on there, and Ray said, "You're going to die."
Hold on. Do not misquote me. I did not say that you were going to die.
I said, "I'll die on that hill," and you said, "Die."
Okay, but you did not present it as such.
Yeah, I know.
To quote Eric Bischoff, context is king, and that is not the context in which you said. You said that Brothers of Destruction is one of the best tag teams, that they're super underrated, and I simply said, as a tag team, they were the shit because they were not good. You want to talk about like the amount of years in the business? Wonderful. They both spent like almost 30 years in the business, and major props to them. But they are both singles wrestlers that got paired together in a tag team because of a nonsensical storyline that was written almost 30 years ago.
Sounds familiar, doesn't it? With Cesaro and Sheamus. The same thing.
What? No.
Two singles guys.
No.
We weren't doing it.
Yeah, but Cesaro's been in multiple tag teams before Sheamus.
And
Yeah,
Cesaro and Sheamus did not get paired together in a story that suggested that Kane was murdered by Undertaker when they were children, when they also murdered his whole family. That's not what put the bar together. The bar was.
You
put
wonder why we call him the analyst.
I mean, you want.
Yeah, I know. That's why I
discussion.
love the fact that I can say something die by the hell.
They
Look at
the
Gronk thing. Look at the Kylie Ray there. The tapes are there.
They paired them together in the seven match series.
And so, I would, as far as like them both being good wrestlers, yes, they are good in singles wrestlers, but they didn't want to really be like they're not a tag team. They're two big ass dudes that got put together, and their tag matches were not good. And you want to talk about if you want to talk about them being a good tag team, tell me good tag matches that they did, and you can't really find them. Like, if you want to go with the match with DDP and Canyon, no, that was stupid. But that is legitimately ranked as one of their best tag team matches. That match was stupid. And you want to talk about 58 years? Well, then let's talk about Jericho, because they've got almost 58 years too. You want to do that? Throw two dudes that were together for a long ass time. That doesn't mean that they were a good tag team. It means they were two good single stars that had a run together. I found a list, actually.
Headset died.
I found a list, and it lists the best Brothers of Destruction match as a match that they did against Heidenreich and Gene Snitsky.
Whoa.
That's their best match as a tag team. I'm sorry. That's not a quality tag team.
No,
but they still won titles regardless. So, I mean...
Yeah, but you know how titles get...
Yeah, but Undertaker and Kane, of course you're going to put the titles on them.
I mean...
And this is why all of us are like brothers. It's funny as hell.
I mean, a lot of tag team wrestlers could do individual wrestling. It's happened. Shawn Michaels, Bret Hart. Now even you can see Jey Uso, Kofi Kingston was a singles wrestler before a tag team wrestler. Same with Big E.
But he's good at tag team wrestling, though. That's Undertaker and Kane suck as tag team.
I'm surprised, speaking of Uso, though, is that I'm surprised they're not trying to set up a match for Roman to go have Jimmy and Jay fight over him like a little prized toy. I mean, that's going to end up happening, though.
That's what I thought they were going to do in the beginning. And then they just let Jay be off TV for a little while. So.
Yeah, well, you have Pat Mason as your right-hand man, so you're good there.
I mean, sure. Maybe JJ, too, but,
Yeah.
That might be my little extra for my little click here.
I think JJ's on his own, considering he has two very, very high quality opponents he has to worry about at All Out, which is going to be interesting for Tad to sit in the middle between the three of them and see which one does what. So, but I mean, this week's been great and stuff. So we're gonna make a little transition on stuff about the tournament and stuff. I'm gonna give you guys some matches. You're gonna give me your analysis on where you think these matches are going to go. One person's been on the show with a baby. Another person is just a friend. Two of these matches, three of them are friends of mine in real life and stuff. And on top of that, we will get you guys Great American Bash picks, because by the time we come back the following Thursday, we'll be talking about those matches and stuff. So I'll start with, the obvious one that's going to be at Slammiversary this on the week of the 11th, but we'll start with next week's matchup. We will be recording this on the 4th of July. You guys are more welcome to stop in after you have your beer and your hot dogs and stuff like that.
I will be lighting off fireworks.
My holiday's today, so.
Teresa versus my friend Kelly. Great American Bash. Who do you think comes out and faces? And as much as I care about Kelly, I'm
not gonna say. What was it? Who was the matchup?
Kelly versus Teresa. Teresa is Kevin's wife.
Sure, her. Kelly or Teresa. She follows me on Twitter. We interact a little bit. She's good. I'll go with Teresa.
Same.
Drew.
Yeah, I'll say
Okay.
Teresa.
So actually, since you bring up the 4th of July thing, though, I was watching NXT UK today, and I thought it was funny that the first thing that commentary says is "Happy Independence." Like, props to you admitting your loss. I'll say that. But yes, Happy Canada Day, Aaron.
Oh, thank you.
One of the huge main events that we have for that week. I'm excited for this. Chris Parrish, who is an actual wrestler, who will be wrestling on the 11th, and we'll be recording this either the 10th or the 11th. It's one of those days. We're still working on it. Chris Parrish from Love Wrestling versus, Dennis Farrell, the undisputed one. From wrestling perspective, who do you guys got? And who do you think will come out and go on to face the winner of Mr. Ray Callahan or Rob Wilkins?
For me, it's Dennis.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Dennis, and then Rob will probably beat me. I'll be honest.
Dennis.
Okay. Now one of the other main events. This is a rivalry that started just not that long ago. I'm excited about this. They have been talking trash on Twitter as much. You've got the man who calls himself outpicks everyone versus the King of Love. So who do you have? Spencer Love versus Pluggo.
I gotta go with Pluggo. Like, Spencer's a great dude, but Pluggo's been an A1 since day one, so I gotta go with Pluggo.
I have to go with Spencer because I don't root for anybody in the Wicked Crazy Crew. So
Spence.
All right.
Because he's Canadian.
That's going to be interesting because I think for us, we'll be glued to the seats because whoever faces Pluggo and Spencer out of that bracket goes to Royal Rumble and faces either the winner of faces JPJ or Steven Jensen at Royal Rumble. That will be awesome. And then these are two people are friends with. Sloan is a very, very competitive person, very into wrestling and stuff. So is my friend Angel. They will be watching and doing a prediction show for Fight for the Fallen, which is at the end of the month. Who do you guys got? Dead air.
I'll say, for Sloan, you said?
Sloan, yeah.
I'll take Sloan because I like competitiveness.
Ray.
Who was the other person? Sorry.
Angel.
I don't know either of these people.
Neither do I, but I'm picking one, so just pick. Jeez.
I'll go with Angel just because you said Sloan.
Sloan.
Okay.
Because I have no idea. Like, who else would have picked it besides Angel?
Yeah.
I just remember
a lot of these matches are some of these like I'll say this, Teresa Kelly, don't kill me, but I would absolutely love to see an in-house fight. Teresa versus Kevin. But I know for Kevin's opponent, and I know him because of the fact that he's best friends with my best friend. And the thing about Witz is that he is very in tune to wrestling. Like, he pays close attention to it. But I think that triple threat match and the SummerSlam matches are going to be interesting. But hopefully by the time we already have one semifinal match, and it's Eric and Ron at War Games. So we'll see how that goes. But
War Games.
With those 4 matches coming up, and then you never know, the Rob versus Ray might end up happening this month because, Rob said he'll let me know on what he thinks is a good thing. Plus, we have stipulations for Pluggo and Spencer. So, since you guys are picking Spencer, that means Pluggo is going to have to donate. So that'll be interesting. But we've got, Great American Bash. So the matches we got so far, there's about 4 of them, but I'll add one to it. So the women's tag team championship match is being, you've got EO and her tag team partner. You can tell I'm exhausted. It's been a long week.
Stark.
Yeah. against
Iron
the
Man's
Way.
Junior, Iron Man's daughter, or part of Stark
Yeah.
clan in the Game of Thrones.
Who do you guys got for that?
The tough thing is they introduced those titles when they didn't need to. We've talked about that before. So, but they've also been hot-shotting those titles a lot because the Way is already the third or fourth team to have them, and so like I feel like I feel like you don't want to do that. I would love to see Io Shirai and Zoe Stark as a tag team. Like that would be like because we've seen them as a tag team already. I would love to see them win this. But I do think that this is a spot where you can get the Way a win, and you can, because like Io and Zoe have shown a little bit of a willingness to kind of fight with each other, and this can be kind of a way of you create that, no pun intended. But you can create the Io versus Zoe story afterwards of you cost me a tag title, and then the other one can say, well, we were never really a tag team anyways, so screw you. Fight ensues, and then the Way gets a win over two good people. But yeah, I'll go with the Way.
So
yeah,
for me,
if you do the Way, by the way, and I'll ask this in a second, and I'll let Aaron keep going for his pick. Who do you think is in line for those titles afterwards? So just hold that answer and let Aaron go ahead and say what you need to.
So for me, while Ray was talking, listening to him, I was kind of thinking, right? I'm like, so, I mean, it could go either way, I think, but let me ask you guys this: has Candice LeRae ever defeated Io Shirai in a singles match, small tag team match, or any kind of match?
I don't think so, because I think they mentioned that actually.
Yes,
Io
I remember
said,
that.
You've never beaten me.
So I think, I mean, maybe a day ago I would have said, I mean, when I was watching the NXT, I was like, you know what? I think Io Shirai and Zoe Stark would become tag team champions. But then they mentioned that. Then Io Shirai mentioned that you never beat me. So that kind of, I was just thinking that while Ray was talking. I mean, yeah, that changed my mind. I think Ray is retaining.
So here's how you pull that off too. You have Indy pin Zoe. Gets Indy a good rub of a legit win.
Yeah.
Zoe, whatever, she's
What's
fine.
with the Dexter stuff?
She's gonna be good. Yeah, and I don't know that. Maybe that plays in. But then Candice can say, "Well, I beat you," and then Io can say, "No, you didn't. Indy beat Zoe, who's not even with me anymore." Yeah, I'm going. You sold me more on my own pick.
All right, Drew.
I wish I cared more about this. But I will say, from what I had seen of the Way, I really like them as a team. Yeah, so I would pick them.
All right, so I guess it's just going to be a three-way conversation here. So sorry, Drew.
Yeah, sorry.
So I mean, the card itself is basically like a 4-card match for the most part, right? Which
in 2 hours, go for it. You got some time to tell the stories. You got.
There's gonna be segments. It's gonna be segments. Yeah. It's not gonna be like it's a special NXT show, but it's not like a takeover. It's just matches. There's gonna be some segments.
They made Great American Bash last year like an amazing thing, and now it's like.
I do think they missed. Like, I get it. You're producing a lot of content. You don't want to do too many takeovers, but Great American Bash on 4th of July, a Sunday. How do you miss that? Like,
you could make it a takeover. You could. You know what? Don't have a takeover in June or something. Move it to July. What? Because SummerSlam takeover. That's why.
Well, and they didn't really get one for WrestleMania, so
yeah.
Give them 2 in a month and a half, and then you wait until SummerSlam. Yeah. Like, I know that it's hard to create all this television, but to me, that's just sitting there.
Has NXT been doing the main roster thing of like a big show or takeover every month?
No,
they've
more
done
common now,
though. But they've been doing them more.
They've been stretching it out for the most part. It makes it a lot interesting, but I think they could have just added like maybe 2 matches to this card. Where if you put Cross or Gargano, you could have added one more to it. I mean, you've got a story there with Loomis and Hartwell so far. I mean, you could just spin that match and have something happen with Loomis doing something.
I think if the Way loses, I think that's Loomis will have something involved in it in some way with Indy Hartwell. That's the only way I can see him losing.
Well, and I don't know that you need it too, because like you look at that card and it's 4 matches, but there's 3 title belts on the line. Do you really need another one? Like, to a certain extent, it's like a less is more to you, because how are you building that card?
There's gonna be more matches added. It's just gonna be. We know there's gonna be more.
Yeah, it just depends on how far they want to pull it, though.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got the tag match that we just talked about. I think the match that's more intriguing to me is Cole and O'Reilly again, just non-sanctioned, just to see how they go. I have a feeling Joe's going to put his thumb into it too somehow, and then I don't know why the whole Butler thing. I mean, come on, they're bringing callbacks back from old storylines, like the $1 million.
You're switching to the Night Grimes thing.
They did the same thing for Virgil with the whole million in the 80s with him too. So it was like,
I mean, they're using the $1 million title. Like, I expected some of that to happen.
Well, Grimes would be if Grimes loses this and becomes a Butler, I think that's gonna be very funny.
I think that match, honestly, what's going to happen is that they're going to do the match, but somebody's going to, make a DQ and make a no contest out of it because of the fact that you're not going to make Grimes a Butler. He's like one of your hot faces right now. So, I mean, it doesn't make any sense.
They did with Miro in AEW. They did with Miro and Best Friends. They did the whole young boy gimmick.
With Chuck.
I could see him doing it. I would rather that Cameron Grimes win because I want him to be the $1 million champion, because him being a $1 million champion to me is a lot more fun. I thought LA Knight did a good job of like being that realistic person where you're like, whoa, like Grimes maybe isn't going to get it. So I was shocked that Knight won that match, but I think he's done a good job of being a heel for a babyface Cameron Grimes to have to overcome. And if he has to also overcome him to win this title in a different match, to me, like, I would have loved to have seen him just win that match, but Grimes winning it here, that's fine too.
Yeah.
As a Butler, that would work. Grimes. If anyone can pull that off, Grimes can pull it off.
Grimes, I'm just gonna say Grimes is gonna become a Butler.
Oh God, please no.
Probably. Yeah.
It's my prediction.
The thing we have to know is how involved in this, and it's probably not much, but how involved in this is Vince? Because if Vince is involved, Cameron Grimes is going to be a Butler. Just because they don't think it's funny.
I don't know. The person who runs NXT can be a little bit like Vince sometimes. So
That's
Mr. Son-in-law.
No, lately, the last couple of years, especially, yes, that's a very, very
son-in-law, right? The son-in-law.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't remind me. Especially since everybody's like, he's from Massachusetts. No kidding. He's not from Massachusetts. He's from New Hampshire. I mean, come on now. Unless it's like Sean running it. I think Sean's probably producing this. That would make more sense, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean,
that means there'll be a ladder involved.
That probably will be. Also, we got MSK versus Tommaso Ciampa versus Thatcher. That's going to be – you got MSK coming out of that.
I hope so. I mentioned this earlier. I don't understand the crowd heat on MSK. I don't get it. Like, what are we booing MSK for?
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. They're really
every
great.
time they come out, they get booed.
Why?
They're very, very fun. I loved when they came over from Impact.
Impact guys get cheered a lot at NXT.
The whole segment where they were sitting in the turnbuckle with Beth and they're just eating popcorn.
I mean,
so good.
It's like the New Day stuff. It's kind of like New Day at the NXT with the popcorn and all that.
Yeah, and I got to look this up actually because I really don't know. Has MSK lost a match since coming into WWE?
I don't think so.
I'm gonna look it up.
I mean, that would be an interesting thing. I mean, if you had, obviously, with Cross and Gargano, they're going to have Cross win it. Unless they have bigger plans. But what other match do you think they're going to add to the card? I mean, I pointed Loomis could be doing something. I mean, they could do something different for a number one's contenders match or something. I mean, hell, they could have Drew there and win the title if they wanted to.
I don't think they're gonna have another match, but I think this is a segment. They should kick off the next feud for the women's title, NXT Women's Title at Great American Bash.
Who do you see Raquel going after though for the next takeover? I mean, there really isn't anybody major
true.
that you could think of.
But isn't there going to be a match between Tony Storm and Saray? Saray, isn't that been confirmed though?
I mean, I haven't seen anything. Yeah,
but they're planning to have a match, aren't they? But
they did say something, but I mean, again, I'm a firm believer of the
Tony Storm is becoming. She's becoming
we'll do that
person.
Next week.
Tony Storm is becoming a wrestler. Is there to get other women wrestlers over.
I honestly think that they need to bring Storm up and strengthen Raw a little bit.
I agree.
But if they do anything for a match for the women's side, if they're going to give Raquel somebody, it's going to have to be somebody from the main roster that has to come down that has a great thing. Or another theory is she lost the title in the UK. You know, Kylie Ray could actually come over and, you know, take over and win that title to bring Raquel up in the fall. So, I mean, that could be a possibility. And then there you go. You have Rhea lose, and as much as I'm going to get flack for this, I'm just going to say it anyways because I'll speak my mind. Have Ripley lose the women's title, have her and Raquel tag, and then there's your dominant women's tag team for a while on the main roster.
What about Dakota? Raquel has a tag team partner right now.
But the thing is, if you're going to bring Raquel up after winning that title, Dakota's going to go after that title on her own to prove everybody she doesn't beat Raquel.
I don't think Raquel's ready to be called up yet.
No, she's definitely not. Her only thing that she does is shows her back. Like, okay, wow, you have back muscles.
She has to show a little bit more personality. I mean, she's like Rhea Ripley, if you ask me.
Her in ring is great. I like watching her and Mercedes Martinez. That match was cool. Her match with Rhea was cool. Like, she can have good matches. Yeah. But there's not a TV presence for Mercedes.
Keep her NXT. I think there's a Dakota. I think there's going to possibly down the line. There's going to be a betrayal from Dakota Kai. Mm-hmm. But big news for you. So back here, NXT UK. Man, guess who's showed up? Blair Davenport, Pierre Priestley.
That's going to be good.
I believe, and someone can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe she's the first person to go AEW to WWE. Like, and I know that there's
New Japan
for it. I get it, but that's fair.
Well, they don't have women's wrestling in New Japan, but she was there as Will Ospreay's girlfriend
until he hit the cutter on her.
Wasn't that Ben Carter guy that did AEW?
AEW, yes.
Oh,
yes.
You're right.
With the worst name now.
Was he never signed with AEW? No. I think Priestley signed with AEW.
Priestley did sign with AEW, but she was cut. She was let go because of the pandemic. Because she was in England.
Again, there's the factor there of like why that happened.
I mean, isn't it weird? Because Will Ospreay said he would never go to WWE or like anything like that, and his girlfriend ends up at WWE.
I mean, he still probably won't, but
well, you never know. He might end up he might go to WWE, but he won't go to main roster. He'll probably end up in the UK with her, which would bolster the UK immensely because you already have Walter there, who's literally not going to let go of that. But it would give Walter a legitimate threat to his title reign because of Ospreay. And then
he's injured, right? Ospreay's injured, isn't he?
He's injured now, and he's still under contract too.
But I think it's a long-term contract of New Japan.
It's pretty long, but yeah, I mean.
But the thing with New Japan is that it's the same roster over and over. They always wrestle each other. I know a lot of people like it, but to me, there's always the same wrestlers over and over, and
they do. New Japan does a lot of like the faction stuff where it's kind of this faction will kind of run through this faction, and then we cross a lot of paths, and we go to a different faction, and like
it gets boring over time for me. It gets boring over time.
Well, they're not in a great creative spot right now, but that's
I would probably get shit for this, but I personally would see NXT UK as a demotion for Ospreay from New Japan.
Oh well, I agree with you, but for Ospreay, oh well.
Yeah.
I just think some would prefer to stay NXT UK because they want to stay in Europe or wherever.
Or they prefer being with somebody they absolutely love if they're living there. So I mean, some people do have that too.
You don't think Triple H wants Walter in North America? Come on, of course.
He would love it, but still, it all depends on if Walter wants to be there. It's the same way if Ospreay ends up in the UK, he probably wants to be there with his significant other just because of the fact that if you had the choice to be with, let's say Ray had got a contract, was a wrestler, and he had a contract from WWE, and his wife did also, and his wife was in the UK, but he was in Japan. Ray, wouldn't you want to be in the same way as your wife and be able to work in the same company just for a while?
No, I'm just kidding.
See?
No, the idea of my wife being a wrestler is funny. She'd probably chop the shit. She would Ric Flair chop the shit out of people, but yeah, I don't see that happening. But no, I get you.
Yeah.
But like when you're a wrestler though, like you get used to that. Like, yes, it's nice to have your significant other around, but that's kind of the way that the gimmick works when you go into it. And to the other end of it, when you're in the same company, you're traveling, you're always with that person, and you do need your ability to kind of do your own thing. And yeah, I don't know.
So we're going to wrap it up because we've gotten an hour and 3 minutes and stuff. I want to thank Lewis for stopping in, announcing he'll be in the tournament and stuff. Hopefully we can get him on. It's just so much stuff going on. And I'll be honest with you, I've been exhausted because of this heat. Like, we had 103-degree heat on Wednesday. We had 101-degree weather here in Massachusetts on Tuesday. And then Monday, we had like a 99-degree heat, and it felt even worse. So, I mean, for me, though, it's just, I'm literally drained. So I have another couple of days of work beforehand, and I'm off Sunday on the 4th. So then after that, after Tuesday, I'm working all the way to the 15th. So if you guys see me lagging on these shows, just bear with me. It's literally going to be like a 9-day stretch before after Tuesday till I have another day off. So it's going to be a little tough around here. I might end up having to ask Ray to host the show because if I don't feel too great after that, depending on everything. But, Drew, tell them where they can find you. That kind of, okay, bye.
I am at Big Money Drew on Twitter. As I say, the best and worst place to be.
There we go.
And I was a little toned down today because
my hands are against not near anything.
Yeah.
Yep, my hands are right here on this bad boy, right here. The object of your affection, the one thing that you literally want the most.
Soon. That's all I have to say. SummerSlam.
I could say this much. I could say this much since I have to hold on this till Mania. This thing's gonna go on a road trip with me, and it will be documented because I'll be doing a show live in Maryland, in Frederick, and there's 3 of the contestants that live around that area. You got Tim Trevor, who's no longer in the tournament still, and you have Pluggo living in South Bend. South Bend from Frederick's about 6 hours. Maybe I should stop in and let Pluggo hold this title for a little bit. We'll see. And then I'm gonna go to down to Atlanta, and Jensen's down that way. I don't know. Let's see how it looks on their shoulders for once. But other than that, Aaron, tell them where they can find you.
Okay, you can find me in my YouTube channel at Aaron Entertainment. I do wrestling videos, sports videos, pop culture videos, streams and videos. Sometimes a little bit of video gaming. And you can find me at Twitter, Aaron Chase Fan. Yep, so look me up. Thank you.
All right, Ray, you know what to do.
Yeah, you can find me here on Twitter. I've got 2 handles now, actually, because I'm a lunatic. If you want a general follow, it's just the Angry Beaver 1127 one. If you want me doing screenshots of like 80s and 90s wrestling for WCW and NWA and Crockett and WWF, then follow this WWT Beaver. I turned my Wrestling with the Beaver website into a Twitter gimmick too, so there's screenshots and all that stuff up there. So give them both a follow if you want, or not. I don't care. It's all good.
If not, you'll get this.
Or you'll just get
We're having too much fun right now. Anyways, yeah. We got a lot of stuff coming up. We've got 4 matches for you, maybe 5 this month. We're going to kick it off with Great American Bash with Teresa versus Kelly. Teresa is probably going to hand Tad her picks, and Kelly, I'm going to see if I can get her to come over here and be live on one of my extra laptops, so that way, she doesn't have to be, have to go anywhere since she lives in the same town. You've got Sisters Custom Designs. Go check them out. Hell, go check out the guys who made this. Go check out UndisputedBelts.com. Tell them that you saw the Wicked Crazy Championship, the World Championship, that is, this beautiful belt here. And just tell them that Throwback sent them and that you want something. This belt is really good design. Everybody's loving it and digging it. Also, Throwback 978 on Twitter, and also check out the Twitch, same thing. We're getting closer and closer to certain goals, so let's keep shrugging on it. We are at 232 right now, so thank you for everybody hitting that comment, like, and subscribe. Get doing that stuff. It goes a long way, especially, so it just helps out. Other than that, do a good deed, pay it forward. Head of the table, do you want to go back to the kiddie pool now?